Hey, it's Matt. How you doing? Hope you're well. And today's video is going to be about something that I think affects all creatives, songwriters, and musicians, and that is self-doubt. Why self-doubt, you ask? Well, I was trawling around on Instagram and I saw a post by the artist Laura Kidd, or as she's known, She Makes War, and it was this little piece on Instagram. It was how to feel miserable as an artist, or what not to do. Underline any that currently apply. I really like that. I thought it was great. Looking through the list, there was things like can constantly compare yourself to other artists. Let money dictate what you do. Undervalue your expertise. Do whatever the client, customer, the gallery owner, the patron, or the investor asks. Or in our case, the audience, perhaps. Set unachievable and overwhelming goals to be accomplished by tomorrow. Yeah. All things I think I've been guilty of at some point or another. The cat. Okay, so yeah, nonetheless, I think it's something that's worth addressing. Self-doubt, and I think that can come in many forms, from lack of confidence down to depression. I know depression's been something that personally I've struggled with over the years, on and off. And something I'm not ashamed to say that I've struggled with over the years either, because I strongly feel that we need to talk about that, particularly as a guy. I think we're very guilty of keeping it to ourselves and not talking about it. But that's the extreme of it. But I think there's also that, there's the day-to-day niggles and self-doubts that you get that can really have an impact if you don't address them. And I think, and if you don't talk about them with other people, or just try and put them to one side, that idea that, let's start, for example, that you do a gig, it's not been the greatest gig, you come away over-analysing it. That's something I've always been guilty of. You pick it to pieces, when ultimately, have you walked off that stage and that audience are happy and they're clapping and they're showing their appreciation and clearly enjoyed what they've seen? 99 times out of 100, that is the case. But you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about that one bum note on that second song, 2 bars in, that you thought was a real clanger that nobody else noticed. That's an example of kind of, things that can happen. But it can really affect you. I mean, I've compared myself to other artists locally, and particularly if I admired them, I would kind of judge myself against what they do. But the trouble is, finally I realised that it's not a healthy thing to do. It's not a healthy way of thinking, because we're each individuals. Each of us do what we do in our own individual different way. And I think that was something that I really actually was probably one of the big things. And it got to me to a point where I started considering not playing anymore. I was ditching songs that were perhaps better than I thought they could have been. And because I was watching what these people were doing and watching what I implied to myself success. They were, they've been played by the BBC Introducing. Then they've had Tom Robinson. What I'd forgotten was that I'd had those things too. But they're getting it more than me. But they're much better as a musician than me. Their songs are much better. They're getting more people at gigs. They've been played on the radio again. It was just those thoughts, particularly for me. No one likes what I'm doing. There's no point going out and doing what I'm doing anymore, because no one cares. I went through a really dark period where that was the case. I started sort of socially pulling away from people, and I guess distancing myself from what I thought was maybe potentially a threat to what I do. I don't know if that's really the case. Was it a threat? Maybe it was. I don't know. But what I found was it was unhealthy. Really unhealthy, and that fed into other doubts, and so the spiral continued. I think I felt I had to deliver, that I had to make things of a certain quality and do them in a certain way. But I was seeing how other people were doing it, and they seemed to be doing what I was kind of intending or being wanted to do, but they were doing it better. In my mind. I don't know if they were doing it better or not, because it doesn't really matter. What matters is, am I happy with what I'm doing, and is my success where I want to put it? Because success is where you want it. You know, some people want to be Ed Sheeran and be famous. Some people just want to play pub gigs with a cover band. Neither is better than the other as far as I'm concerned. They all have as much value to the individual that's doing it as anything else, you know. So I kind of find when it does, the best way to deal with it is to... my wife gave me this great saying, which was, you know, more to do with depression, but I think it kind of, the analogy works here. And that's to let it on the bus that you're on, but not let it drive the bus. And when you're ready, you can get off that bus and leave it behind. So, you know, go with it, but don't let it control you. Let it kind of happen, because I think it's a natural part of being a creative person. But what you don't want is it to become the upfront focus of what you're doing. And I'm coming out the other end of that now, and I'm doing this, and I'm sharing my experiences and offering what I know from my point of view of being a DIY musician. But I started to realise that it was about how I measured success. I was measuring it against somebody else, but actually when I sat down, I wrote down all the things that I'd achieved with music and all the things that, you know, were fantastic, and they far outweighed what I didn't think was fantastic. You know, that's the thing. And I realised that I had to go through that process, come out the other side, but I needed to stop that line of thinking. I needed to do something about it. So that's what I did. And I feel kind of good, you know, about that, but it's not easy, and I don't expect it to be the right thing for everybody. But that was how I dealt with it. I kind of let it happen, realised it was happening eventually, and it wasn't healthy, and then started to not let it take control. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd be really interested to know what your thoughts and experiences in particular are about self-doubt, about depression. As a creative person, I think a lot of these things all kind of meet in the middle and are the same experience. I'd love to know what you think. So please do write in the comments if you feel comfortable to, or contact me through social media or whatever. But thanks for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing with these videos, please, you know, press subscribe or like. And I think you can now press the bell, and that will give you notifications of when I'm uploaded another video. But for the meantime, thanks for watching. Be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon. See ya.